Hello and what's up, guys, to a YouTube video. I am so happy to talk about. Bitcoin is on a rip. There is so much discussion in terms of ETFs, what's happening, and how crazy this is. So, we basically went from 15,000 Bitcoin in November last year to now 2x that. It took us to two, like one entire year basically, to flip from that bottom. And just looking at it now in terms of like a zoomed out scale, this looks amazing. This looks really bullish. This looks like the bottom has been in, and if anything, if any hope is there, there is potentially, if you did miss the bottom, there is a potential entry that you can get in around like the 30K area, but I don't really see anything lower than that. Like the amount of buy pressure that has been going on just today is insane on a daily candle. You look at these daily charts, and when we hit the top at 70K, how big these candles were. Like you look at the size here, this size here is relevant is relative to this size here, and this is just the start of the bottom. To think that this is just the beginning of a 1 day candle, how insane can anything else run up? So there's been so much news in terms of like the ETFs and all of the market push and pressure and things like that. You can see even the chart and how well it's held up. I was also looking at in terms of like a small minor time frame. I was looking at a W formation and a breakout here. If you look at another W formation, you can see it on a bigger scale there. And if you were to take into the massive scale, you have a W formation here, which means that you need to actually look for a bottoming, right? And in that sense, you'd want to have two double bottoms or something of that sort, where you'd have a W formation and potentially come back. But honestly, around the worst possible area, or when we do actually settle, I'd feel around the 30K mark is the lowest it can go. If it does break below that, then this is obviously like their main goal is to liquidate a lot of people before they actually push higher, and that could potentially be the scenario. If you do look, and you have to consider the possible negative outcomes of when something like this happens, is it doesn't, you can't just close your eyes and assume that we are like going to instantly just pump forever. You have to look at zones like this where there's a lot of resistance. 40K zone or 42K zone is considered to be quite the resistance, and then past there is a possibility of hitting here. But I do believe we do need to retrace, maybe hit around this area, maybe around here, which is 3-1. So if I were to think of a projection, possible projection, I would assume something like this over the next few whiles, and then a head up here, and then maybe head back down here for some testing and potentially upside, right? This is the bullish scenario, and if I were to look at a bearish scenario, it would be this double top and maybe just fall off, find a bottoming here, and then potentially rise up. And then you'd have a W formation in terms of a massive one that's comparative to this. But considering the market and how well this is pushing, I can definitely see this being the main scenario in terms of how the market is formed. So definitely something insane at this point, and definitely pushing for. I'm so proud of like sticking in this market for so long, and I think that we definitely can do really well, considering we hit almost back to 10K, we hit 15K. This going through this and consistently consolidating and accumulating, this is actually the time. Like, this is the before the storm. So try and accumulate as much as you can in these zones. If I were to simplify it in terms of accumulation and looking at in terms of that, I think the best way to actually look at this is to look for accumulation zones around here and potentially around here, which would probably never happen. But if we ever do flash crash or there is FUD, then obviously this is like a easy way in this zone here. So this would be your three re-entries if you are looking for the bullish term. And then your take profits would obviously be around this area here, right? And then there would obviously be take profits up here. But in my opinion, I do think we are in a really good bull run. I am looking to actually average in and add more when we do hit certain points. And I definitely think we can actually go really high in the next coming months. So October it is. October it is. Make sure to tune in and see you guys next time.